Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your co-host, RJ the Balanced Blue, joined by my fellow co-hosts and legends of all time, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. Scott, I'll go to you first, man. How you going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. We're nearly at Friday, nearly at the weekend, so looking forward to it and plenty of football to chat about.
Absolutely. Plenty of football. Carabao Cup, we'll get on to that. Premier League upcoming. More World Cup squads announced. Robbie, how you holding up, man?
Man, I'm buzzing, mate. The football fever is really starting to take over now. Like I said, we've got Derby on the weekend, and obviously in the domestic league, we've got the World Cup squads are getting released. So it's only a week and a half away till the World Cup kicks off. Obviously, the last weekend of Premier League, football, man. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely, football it is, and me personally, got lots happening in my world, in the football world, in the work world. London has fallen, Scott, with some big matches in the Premier League. I feel like we don't get a reprieve from football, but let's not make that sound like that's a bad thing.
That's it. It's certainly not a bad thing. Good evening to some of the champions in the chat. We got Tom here. We got Emad. Oh, he's come out of his burrow, of course, on the back of a bad Arsenal result. Borche from the football capital. Hadn't seen him in a while, but back again, just like magic. We got Shano here. We got the concierge. We got Burt Reynolds in the house too, apparently. Not sure where. But let's start off with the Carabao Cup results, gentlemen, because I heard a lot of debate on social media, things like TalkSport, saying, I don't care anyway. Like it's a crap cup. I don't care. I'm not upset that we got knocked out. I know for me personally, because obviously it wasn't televised, so I didn't get to watch a game, but Arsenal got knocked out of the Carabao Cup this morning, and I was unhappy with that. I was disappointed, not devastated, I guess I would say. And then I was thinking about Spurs, because obviously they also got knocked out. It was a terrible morning for London. And as I was listening to some of their fans react, I was thinking, you know what? They have every right to be really, really annoyed about this. And it got me thinking, does your league position or your overall ambition influence how you feel about this cup? Because if we're ranking FA Cup, European Cup, Premier League, and this is at the bottom. But I think for a team like Spurs, who haven't won a trophy in a very long time and would love to get that off their back, they should be devastated that they were knocked out this morning by Nottingham Forest. But for us, obviously disappointed we're out. I want to win every trophy. But I wasn't devastated because I know that our squad is very thin. And as we try to sustain a title challenge and compete on multiple fronts, we're going to need every bit of rest we can get. Our depth is rubbish. I've said that a million times, and it showed again this morning. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. But where are you, RJ? Because obviously your team was knocked out too. How upset were you, and do you think your season so far establishes that?
Yeah, look, I suppose I agree with what some of you're saying, but I don't know. Ultimately, it's not a trophy is a trophy, but not all trophies are equal. Like you said, there is a hierarchy here. We're not knocked out of the Champions League. It's not we've lost the Premier League. It is the lowest of the low in terms of a trophy. It's good for morale. It's good to add to the cabinet and keep it ticking over. I think you're right. I think some of it does come down to ambition, but it also does come down to prioritization as well. Look, I'll be very honest here. Losing this morning to City, it was strange because the performance I thought was better, and there was a lot of, I thought, positives. Naturally, I get pretty upset when we lose and get knocked out of a tournament, but I've got to say, I didn't feel particularly hard done by. Maybe it's because of the quality of the opposition. I think if we lost to Nottingham Forest, I think I would have taken that a bit of a harder blow. But overall, yes, it sucked. But look, man, I can move forward, to be honest, because Newcastle's the real focus for me.
As Shane's saying, you've got bigger things to worry about. And we'll get to previewing that.
Nouveau Riche.
We'll get there in just a moment. I want to acknowledge my man G in the chat doing his thing at the Armory TV at the moment and saying, I care. I want to win all games and wanted to progress in the cup. Given the teams that got knocked out, it could be a missed opportunity. I certainly agree. But in the grand scheme of things, Arsenal, I know for us, I can't talk for other teams, but we can't compete on four fronts. So I know that there'll be a couple of teams, Man City, Manchester United, who maybe be sitting back rubbing their hands together, thinking this might be an easy cup coming. Robbie, how are you feeling about the Carabao Cup at the moment, mate?
Well, look, I'm not rubbing my hands together just yet. We've got to get the
Got
job
to
done
get through
tomorrow
first.
ourselves. Yeah, we've got to get through first. And look, after the seeing the results this morning, again, as we said, I want to win every game and every cup. Everyone likes a bit of a cup run, especially when you have a bit of a new manager. For him, it's any kind of silverware is a bit of money in the bank as well. We're on a bit of a trophy drought. I think it's come up to 6 years now. So again, at the moment, we'll take anything. But I think you wrapped that up pretty good. If we go through tomorrow, I'll be happy. If we get knocked out tomorrow, it's not gonna be end of the world. I'm not gonna go losing my mind kind of thing.
Yep.
If the weekend game is more important to me, if I'm gonna be honest. 3 points against Fulham and keeping in that top 4 challenge. If we get both, that's the bonus. But if I had to pick one or the other tomorrow, it's definitely the 3 points against Fulham. But again, when you look at the teams that have dropped out this morning, and Liverpool were nearly there to join them. Obviously, mate, you got to take advantage of that as well. And naturally, you're going to say there is going to be a few of the big boys are out. There's going to be a little bit of an easier route if you want to put that in brackets.
It's crazy to think, boys. I'm going to rattle off some teams that have been eliminated in the first round of this. Arsenal, Palace, Spurs, West Ham, Leeds, Everton. Tell you what, there's some big hitters that have gone out there, and you could kind of tell by a lot of the squad rotation how seriously some players, our managers were taking it. I keep coming back to Spurs because there was something that happened in this match that really, really bothered me. And it had to do with our mate Harry Kane, who came off at 59 minutes uninjured. Do you think that could have anything to do with the World Cup? And I want to read some of the Carabao Cup comments from the chat too. But Spurs are down. They haven't won a trophy since God knows when. You're bringing off one of the world's best strikers in this fixture. But surely that's not to rest him for England, because we all know he'll be there. And if it is, and I was a Spurs fan, I would be absolutely livid with my club, with Harry, with whatever's happened. I mean, Conte, I'm seeing in the chat, Conte said that he was fatigued. Tell you what, he's about to go play a World Cup, and I bet you he'll play 90 minutes of every match for England. If he can do that, he can play the extra 25, 30 minutes in the Carabao Cup.
But you know what? I got to say, to defend, I get what you're saying. You've risked him that far. Can you go a bit further? But speaking as someone who we had a relatively meaningless match in the Champions League, Ben Chilwell got injured right at the 93rd minute. He's out for the next 5 months. So, some of these players, they get pushed to their red zone in terms of minutes played, et cetera, et cetera. If they said, look, beforehand, you're going to get 50, 60 minutes, and if they ignored that advice, got injured in the 80th minute, and he's out for England, out for Spurs for a Carabao Cup game, can you imagine the furor it would have copped? So, I don't know, man. It's one of those situations of maybe they said, let's flip a coin. If we can't get the job done in the first 50 minutes, we'll just take you off and we run our race. But is the risk worth the reward in a sense? What happens if he scored the winner, but then does his ACL in the 80th minute or something? I don't know. It is. I do feel for those decisions, if you know what I mean. I don't know. It's not that straightforward to me.
It's interesting, but I mean, if he does his ACL in the World Cup,
because
we know England are going to run him into the ground. At the end of the day, it still screws Spurs, who are paying him colossal wages. I don't know. Maybe it's just me bashing Spurs. Robbie, before I get to the comments in the chat, any words on this situation?
Yeah, look, I'm all for it, to be honest. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. That was just after the second goal, 57th minute. Jay Lings put in the back. And then, for me, it reminded me exactly of when there was a North London derby. I think it was as soon as you guys got the third goal, he took 3 of his best players off straight away, like a damage control. Okay, they're away, 2-0 down. Obviously, you thought, okay, we're not going to get this. I'm not going to think. I'm going to save him because, again, they've got a game in a couple of days on the weekend. That's probably more important when they're 2-0 down away. And again, I don't think he's going to lose his mind that they've just gone out for the League Cup. You know what I mean? So, look, I've got no issues with it. And like RJ says, mate, I wouldn't be risking players for both his Premier League and his international team this close to.
Let's look at a few comments from the chat. Emad saying, clubs don't care when they get knocked out, but when they win it, they'll have an open top bus parade. Fair shout, puts it into perspective. Tom, I think Tom and I are from the same school of thought. Tom's got great memories of the League Cup. Winning at Wembley should never be taken for granted. I absolutely agree with Tom. 100% a cup's a cup. Another one from Tom saying a lot of stars won't feature this weekend. Players undoubtedly will be in their managers' ear asking to be protected. Look around Europe at the players getting injured. Again, if I'm Mikel Arteta and Gabriel Jesus, for example, comes to me and says, mate, can you just give me half a match this weekend? I've got to get ready for the cup. I'm saying, mate, you get on there and you run because I'm paying your wages.
But that won't. Do you reckon it'll work like that though? Like if you're a player and you force me to go against my will, I'm gonna. Some of them might dog it, mate. And some of those results where you say, "Oh, a trophy is a trophy," and you've got the Wembley memories. But what happens if you give it your 100% and you go out there and you get fatigued or you hurt yourself and you miss out top 4 for the bigger competition because you got this Wembley moment? Look, you can't just go 100% across every competition. Like I don't know, man. It's not that binary to me. But I know what you're saying. But I can just see if I'm Benzema, like what Emad's saying here, it's one thing to completely lie about your situation. But if you go and say, look, I've played, 1,500 minutes so far. I've got this big thing. I'm 28, I'm 29. I'm approaching my twilight years. I want to have the best tournament I can be done. Can I just play 60 minutes? Like, just give me at least a little bit of time. No. If you say no, fine. I'll go and dog it on the field because you couldn't.
Yeah, but boys, you both stuck up for Harry Kane as well. So I know you're saying no, Robbie, but you also said
but that wasn't Kane, but that was Conte making that decision. It wasn't Kane in his ear.
We don't know that.
Well, we don't know. Okay, we don't know that, but look at the situation. Like I just said, 2-0 down away in the in the League Cup with a game. His best striker for the weekend. Mate, if I was the manager, I'd be like, this is your job right now. When you finish your job here, you go and play for England. That's it.
And that makes sense, man. They pay the wages, like you said. But I'm just saying, like, if you're one of your trusted players and they say, boss, I give myself every game 3 times a week. Just let me get a little bit of breathing space before the World Cup. Just give me half an hour rest. If they say, no, we need you for 95 minutes, I don't give a crap. I think that will rub the player up a pretty wrong way, if I'm being honest. If I'm a loyal worker and you said that to me as a boss. That's just my personal opinion.
People smash the likes as well. Let's get the likes up on the video. If you're watching this back, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Are you expecting rotation? Are you okay with rotation? Where do you stand with this? But, boys, it's going to be a big round of football. And I think this ultimately comes down to really crap planning for having a World Cup right in the middle of a season. We're already seeing players who have been injured. We are, mark my words, and I'd love to be wrong, going to see players get injured in Qatar. We always do in a World Cup. And then you've got that real big conflict between clubs who have invested massive money in players and then they're going to lose them for a mid-season World Cup in a very hot place, air-conditioned or not. It's going to be interesting. I am getting hyped for the World Cup, but this isn't the same level of World Cup hype that I'm used to having. So true. I am hyped, however, boys, for the Premier League this weekend. We've got some big football. This is our last match week before the Cup, right? It is, Robbie?
Yep.
Confirmed? Yep. Last one before the Cup. So we've got some predictions to do. We are going to start, gentlemen, with Manchester City hosting Brentford. Robbie, kick us off.
Kick us off with a 2-0 win to the Citizens.
Wow, 2-0. Easy win, Haaland. Are you expecting Haaland to start and score?
Look, he wasn't in the team today, but if he's fit, I think he plays, man. He's not playing in the World Cup, so why wouldn't he be there? Again, if he's fit, he plays.
And what a weapon for them to have nice and fresh. Erling Haaland, no World Cup. RJ, what happens in this match?
3 points, 3-0. Move on.
Wow, boys. Not giving Brentford any chance. You know what? I'm going to give the boys from Brentford a goal at least. I'm going to go with 3-1. Geordie, I did see these comments. I don't know if you...
What a debacle.
These.
I know.
Mate, listen, FIFA has, for a very long time, been involved in some things. This World Cup, there's just so much around it. I mean, we could do a 6.5 hour stream talking about issues with it, but I'm trying to get myself into that mindset of we've got a World Cup coming, festival of football, the Aussie boys are there. Let's get right into it and just enjoy the football.
If you thought about that when before you took the brown paper bag, we would have been watching this down the road, mate. Would have been in Australia, or should have been in Australia anyway, mate. The road to 2022 was supposed to be here, mate. We would have been watching local World Cup football, mate. That would have been awesome.
There you go. Look, and my man G backing Brentford for a shock 1-1 result. Mate, let's hope. Next one, Bournemouth hosting Everton, boys. RJ,
rematch.
We need to get some revenge, mate. We need to get some revenge. I think this is we've set them up now. We've trapped them. Poor Bournemouth are going down. Where's it at, Scott? Is that
it's
Bournemouth?
At Bournemouth.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be really tough, man. They've got a psychological edge. I think Everton were pretty woeful that game. I know they rotated severely, but they were pretty woeful nonetheless. Expecting some sort of response here. I could see this one being a 1-1 draw. I could see it either way, but I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1 draw.
Robbie?
Scott, what do you think, Scotty? Give me some time on this. I'm
mate,
excited.
look,
Rob wants to preserve his lead.
Yeah, hard.
I'm going to go with Bournemouth 2-1.
Yeah, I agree with you,
See
mate.
that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah. They've been impressing me lately, Bournemouth. I'll go 2-1. 2-1 Bournemouth.
All right, that would see us gain some ground on RJ, which would be lovely. I've chucked you two under the bus and made you go first both times, so I'll kick this one off. A clash at Anfield between Liverpool and the Saints. Liverpool, for me, are just at the wrong time. It's the wrong time for them. They were just looking like they're starting to cook, and now we're going to hit that World Cup break. So I do think Liverpool will run riot over Southampton here. I'm actually going to go 4-0 to Liverpool with Mo Salah on the double. Robbie?
I'm nowhere near that. I'm confident. I think Liverpool just get this 2-1.
2-1. RJ?
I think because of the sacking, it could go one of two ways, but I think Liverpool finding their stride at the right time or the wrong time, depending who you ask. I think it'll be 2-0 to the Reds.
Yeah, it's Liverpool calls all round except for Emad. Don't know if that's a little bit of Liverpool hate there, calling Southampton 2-1. Stranger things have happened to Liverpool this season. Next up, and we're going to kick off with you, Robbie, Nottingham Forest, the slayer of Spurs, hosting Crystal Palace.
Yes, hosting Crystal Palace. Okay, yeah,
Two big wins on the bounce.
No, I think Palace will get this one again, 2-1.
RJ?
Yeah, same, exactly what I was thinking, 2-1.
I'm a 1-1 draw in this. I'm a 1-1 draw. I'm hoping that Jay Ling's bounce from Spurs carries on. Next one, speaking of Spurs, everyone's least favourite team from London, they are hosting Leeds United. What I think will be an interesting match. There's a little bit of discontent around Spurs at the moment. I heard fans this morning calling for Conte's head on the radio. I've seen it on social media. Conte out. I don't really know if they could get someone better. You Conte out, Robbie?
No, I don't have to care, mate. It's Spurs, but yeah. Look, I always back him, but I think he should be getting a little bit of pressure, a little bit. The results have been poor. I still don't know how they're in the top four. I feel like they've been losing like every game so far in the last month, but they're still fourth. But yeah. Look, I think they will. This is at home.
It is at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think they will want to go out with a bit of hurricane. Kulusevski is back, and Richarlison, I think, is fit enough to play. He's passed his test apparently, especially for Brazil as well. I think they'll want to get a home win before the break here. So I'll go again narrowly 2-1 to Spurs.
I'm going 1-1. I don't think Harry Kane will play. I think Kane sits this game out, and I think that'll really weaken them. I'm going 1-1. I'm telling you. And if he plays,
there's no way Kane sits this out. I'll guarantee you, mate.
Harry Kane, if he plays, will move with my pace and intensity. And you know I'm not very quick. I've got a quick mouth, but that's about it, mate. He's going to be sitting himself down outside the penalty box, hoping the ball deflects off his head and goes into the goal. He ain't running.
So which one is it? He's playing or not playing?
Look, you can call it playing if you want. I think he'll be on, but he ain't going to move, man. He's not going to move. I'm telling you now. I will run quicker than Harry Kane this weekend. And that's why I'm going 1-1. And you know what? Don't be shocked if Harry Kane doesn't play. And I think there'll be a few people owe me an apology if he doesn't, but unlikely. Robbie, what's your score?
Yeah, I said 2-1 to
2-1. I was 1-1 and you were 2-1, right, RJ?
I'm going 2-1 to Spurs. I think Kane will play, and I actually think he'll surprise you. I think he will give a good account of himself because I think he'll want to use it as positive momentum heading into the World Cup, to be honest.
Next minute, Kane hat-trick next minute.
Yeah, exactly. I've got him three headers from the box. That's
I've got him in my FPL, so if he scores, I'll be happily surprised, as long as they lose as well. Next match, West Ham hosting Leicester. Neither team overly impressive at the moment. Can't say I'll be getting out of bed for this. What's your call, RJ?
I think West Ham have been a little bit better. I know Leicester have been better, which is a credit to them. So I thought Rodgers was going to get the old axe a while ago. So they've seemed to have found a little bit of a resurgence. It's at West Ham, isn't it? It is there.
Yes.
Yeah, that to me actually gives West Ham a bit more of a fighting chance. I think they will take this one 2-1.
All right, 2-1 to West Ham, Robbie.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna go draw in this one only because it's at West Ham. Otherwise, I'll be going Leicester. So I'll go 1-1 draw.
Jay's going 2-2. I'm going 2-1 Leicester. I think Maddison is. I don't think he's going to the World Cup with England. We'll find out.
Oh, come on, mate. He will get picked.
2:00.
For sure.
You reckon, Arch?
Yeah, he's got to get picked, boys. I know I'm sorry for distracting us, but I think he's got to get picked, mate. Seriously.
I agree with you, mate. Tell Southgate that, but I'll take him. He should be there on form.
Southgate won't drop anyone for him, mate. Southgate, jobs to the boys. He's got his favourites.
But who should he drop? Who does he get it over here?
Harry Maguire shouldn't be in the squad.
Well, no, but they've already dropped players. Like he normally picks 500 fullbacks, and half of them are out now. So I'm sure he's got room for another midfielder.
He's got to go there, man. Yeah,
he's a good player, but he won't play. The thing with Southgate, sorry, Rob, I'll come to you in a sec. Southgate is so tactically rigid. His lineups are boring. His team play boring. He doesn't experiment with the squad at all. You know exactly what you're going to get. I reckon, and when we do some kind of World Cup preview, I reckon I'll be able to get you basically the whole England starting 11. And I don't think I'll be able to say that with many other countries confidently. But I would take Maddison. I don't think he does. Robbie?
Yeah, what's up?
Maddison going? Yes, no?
For me, he should go, but I don't think he'll get picked. And especially because I think he holds grudges as well. Southgate obviously had that little bit of the episode, I think, whenever he left the England thing and he went to the casino, whatever it was back then, and I don't think he's been selected since. And it's the same. He's got, like I said, he's always got his favorite players, mate. Like I said, he keeps continuously saying, I'm picking players in form, and that many times he's never done it, mate. So I agree with you, mate. You could probably copy and paste the Euro final team from last year and put it straight into here, mate, if you're not injured.
One more quick fire for you, Rob. Sancho or Maddison, if you can only take one?
Right now, you have to take Maddison. You have to. I would pick on form, mate, because why wouldn't you pick on form?
That's why I respect you, Robbie. You're pretty real. RJ, Sancho, Maddison?
Oh, Maddison, but he's just, like I said, I threw him into the mix just because of his over form, but I just think he offers a little bit something different. He's at the peak of his powers at the moment. He's delivering the goods. He's someone that's not going to get overly marked out of a game. Mate, you know what?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Nah, but you know what I mean? Like, on form, he's better, obviously, but like just in terms of the team composition, I definitely would pick him. So I don't know, man. I'm sticking to my outside bolter's chance that he might surprise us and get picked.
All right, let's jump straight back into the football, boys, because it's RJ's team up next.
We already covered City, didn't we?
Yeah. a huge match, boys. St. James Park, the last round before the World Cup. Newcastle United, Chelsea Football Club. RJ, go for God, champ.
Feeling nervous, ladies and gentlemen. It's tough times for Chelsea. I just want to say, because we didn't go into great depth about the Man City loss, but I actually thought there were some good elements this morning. Like, yes, City won 2-0. There's a weak free kick was Koulibaly didn't jump, and they scored from a parried effort from Mendy, but there were many chances. Young Lewis Hall was a standout. He could have scored a brace, if not a hat-trick. Thought Christian Pulisic had some good moments. So I thought overall we looked a lot better than what we were against Arsenal, put it that way. So there were some positive efforts from this display. Newcastle, we know they struggled earlier. They got through, credit to them, but they weren't at their best, of course, and no team had their full lineup. It's going to be a tough one. St. James Park, Newcastle's in hot momentum. I'll be rocking. But like I said, I saw some good displays at the back today, despite conceding 2. I thought, like we've got players like Matt Mount that was rested. Havertz came on late. We had Lewis Hall had a good debut. I don't know. Kovacic was a bit on and off. I don't know, man. I'm a bit nervous. Obviously, it's a huge game for us, but I'm just hoping that we dig deep enough just to scrape this result, knowing that this 3 points could be very, very important come the latter stage of the season. If I'm betting with my head, I go draw/loss, but I can't do it to my team. I can't do it. I have to back them, and I have to go with us 2-1. Again, I'm throwing my heart out there, but I've got to go with us 2-1.
Shano, our resident Newcastle fan, saying Joelinton and Bruno, in his opinion, will dominate the Chelsea
Bruno,
mid.
for sure.
They're going to bully Jorginho and press brutally.
I don't know if he'll start. I don't know if Jorginho will start, to be honest. I reckon Zakaria will start, maybe.
No way.
Kovacic. I wouldn't be surprised, man.
Speaking of tactically inflexible, Potter, since he's come to Chelsea, it's like he's got stage fright, mate. He doesn't mix it up enough for me. Dead set. And I did say, and I'm going to double down on this, I don't think he sees out the season.
But I think that's not due to flexibility. I think, if anything,
he's
actually chopped and changed too much in some respects. I think he's...
Only via injury, not tactically.
I don't know, man. I think some of it's pressure. Some of it's injury. But he's definitely, as someone that watches him in depth, there are elements of the games in micro moments that we look good, but there's still elements where we're still looking confused as to what our roles are and we get caught out as a result. So, yeah, definitely up against the wall for this one.
I'm going 1-1 in this. I think Chelsea will put up a fight, and I think it'll be a 1-1 that Newcastle should have won. I have a feeling that Chelsea will come out with something. Robbie?
Yeah, look, just quickly about Potter. I've seen a few people I've heard today that he won't last the season. I think it's madness, honestly. Even at Chelsea, this guy hasn't even had his own transfer window yet. Like, hey, if they back him hard in January, which I think they will, and then he continues to show the same form as of late, then fair enough. But for me, he's not even close, mate. Like, he's been in the job, 2 months if you're lucky? There's no way. We just had this conversation not long ago about people, losing their minds after a couple of results, man. Like, I know Chelsea is not the best club for projects, but I do think this one is going to be maybe a little bit
not long-term projects, Rob.
Yeah, I know, but not that short either. So, look, in my opinion, I don't think he's in that much trouble at the moment. But for this game, look, whatever. This is just a straight. I've had this. Newcastle's going to win for me. I've just had it locked in my head for the past 3 weeks. I've looked at the fixtures, and even before we played them, I just thought it's more the form of Newcastle, mate. They're really impressing me at the moment. It's at Newcastle as well, which I think is another bumper crowd that they would love to win in front of. I just think they're flying high, and they're not scared of anyone at the moment. I think they're going to go toe-to-toe, and yeah, it's got nothing against Chelsea because I'm obviously, as a United fan, I'm enjoying the form. I just think that Newcastle are flying at the moment. They're loving that they're in the top 3. And I think they would love to finish the season.
I'm just hoping the logic, when all the logic suggests one thing, like even
100%. I know what you're saying.
United versus Villa. Villa were going dead set hopeless. United were playing really good,
100%.
but they lost 3-1. I'm just hoping something totally opposite happens for us.
It was like exactly like last year when we played each other, man. We were in the worst form ever, went to the bridge and got a point somehow. I don't know how.
Yes.
Exactly.
Robbie, what's
like
your
that.
score?
I'm going 2-1 to Newcastle. I'm locking it in no matter what.
All right, next up, a match at the Molineux between top of the table, high-flying Arsenal and Wolves. this is the kind of game that makes me nervous because when I'm confident, bad things happen. And I'm confident. I feel like we're going to go and we're going to cook Wolves.
Just quickly, is half the team playing, or because they're going to the World Cup, they're going to sit on the bench and not want to play because they're coming first? But I'm happy that they're happy enough to go this away.
My expectation is that they play and they play hard. That's my hope. But if they don't, I'll be livid, man. I'll be livid, particularly if we don't come back with all three. Unlike some other teams, we've got a lot to play for this season. Top of the league, we want to hold that. We want to carry that momentum into the World Cup. It would be so frustrating to lose this game and not be top of the league when we break for the World Cup after all the hard work we put in. If we dropped out of top in this match week, I'd be livid, honestly. But I do think we have too much speed, too much movement.
Your players won't be running, Scotty. Your players will not be running. They're going to be walking around the 6-yard box, according to you.
We'll see, man. No, there's a big difference between Harry Kane and our players, man. There's different mentality.
Saliba won't be playing. He's got picked for France, so he won't be playing.
He got picked for France. Martinelli's got picked for Brazil.
Boys, you know what? I'll put my chest out and I'll make a call. Let's wait and see what happens in the games because I may be right and then you two are going to look stupid, or I might be wrong and I'll look stupid. But
so your rule is just for Harry Kane. Is that what you're trying to say?
My rule, going off this morning and him bailing on them in a cup match when they haven't won a cup in so long.
His manager took him off, mate. How did he bail on him?
Muted myself. Mate, his manager took him off. He didn't look upset when he came off. Let's put it that way.
Fair call. Fair
call. Let's just move, hey? Let's move. We'll wait and see. But our players, ours didn't even play. Arteta didn't start him. And that's because we don't have the depth to push for this cup. So I'm going Arsenal 3-0 against Wolves. I think we should run right unless something catastrophic happens. Robbie, what's happening, mate?
I think Arsenal are going to walk right 3-0.
3. I'll take it. RJ?
I think it'll be 2-0 to the Gunners.
Beautiful. Clean sheets all round for the boys. Brighton hosting Aston Villa. This Brighton team are playing good football. Villa are coming in on the back of that excellent, emphatic victory against a team that were running, Manchester United. They were just running into brick walls. Robbie, what do you think happens in this one?
I love it. Look, I'm loving Brighton as well at the moment. And it's at Brighton, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, look, I thought they were good against you guys today. Well, from the highlights anyway. And look, I just think the Zabi is starting to finally get it's starting to click a little bit. I think all the performances have been well. The first couple of matches they weren't getting the results, but the performance was there. Now they've got a bit of both. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Brighton.
RJ?
Yeah, I can sense that too. Lock in 3-1 to the Mighty Seagulls.
I'm going 2-2. I'm going for a 2-2 draw in this. Unai Emery. Don't sleep on him. Next one, Robbie, the final one until the 26th of December. Depressing saying that, man. Manchester United up against Fulham. That's the one. Thank you. Spared my blushes. Go on, Robbie.
Yeah, look, again, I am a little bit, not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous only because how Fulham have been turned up against all these big boys this year. We've all seen that. Unfortunately, unluckily for them last week, I think they did deserve a point against City. They've got a point. They've got points against Liverpool. They've gone toe-to-toe with a lot of teams. And where they are on the table doesn't lie either. So Mitrovic, I think if he's fit, he's always going to cause any defense problems. Again, a few doubts for us in the attack. I don't know who's going to be ready. And, as you said, Scotty, I don't know who's going to protect themselves that haven't been in doubt. But I do hope we bounce back from that loss last week. It wouldn't be nice to finish on a low after being on such a high in the last month. We're going to edge this again, 2-1.
Okay. And what about you, RJ?
Yeah, it's a tough one. United bounce back. I think they will, but Fulham have proven a very difficult
100%. At Craven Cottage as well, man.
Definitely. I think that it gives them a bit of a fighting chance, to be honest. I was thinking 1-1, but regrettably, I think United will just edge this one 2-1.
Okay, all right. Well, boys, that's the Premier League.
What was yours, Scott? What did you say, Scotty?
Oh, I didn't give one, did I, for that? United Fulham. Let's go with United 2-1. Just.
I'll take
Just. We've got the World Cup squads coming out thick and fast. There are going to be a bunch more coming out, probably while we're asleep. But France did put out their World Cup squad. I've got the tab open here, so I'll chuck it up on the screen. Let's look at the defending World Cup champions squad. Obviously, they're in Australia's group. No big surprises for me when I look at that. The only thing that I kind of look at and think is those midfielders. I'm not seeing much creativity in there. I'm seeing more of your defensive kind of midfielders. However, when you look at the forwards, you can see where the spark is going to come from. I would have liked some kind of creativity in the middle, but these are some good players in there who are going to protect the back four. So I think this is a good squad and certainly a squad that will be up there. What do you make of this squad, RJ?
Very competitive, very physical, fast, very talented up top. They've got different profiles. You've got some good hold-up players, some experienced Benzema, Giroud, some nimble, creative, fleet-footed players, and Cuckoo's in hot form. Dembele, we know what he can do. There's a pretty decent up-and-coming player called Mbappe. So they've got some top talent there. And in the midfield, man, I think the creativity, Rabiot, he's been pretty good. I would say he's been pretty good for Juventus. So I think I throw him in there. Obviously, Tchouaméni, I think this could be a bit of a tournament for him to shine a little bit. And that very, very solid defense. I'm just hoping the goalkeeper, he has a few wobbly moments because he has shown that, hasn't he?
Definitely. Robbie, any quick thoughts on this before we chuck up the Croatian squad?
No, look, I think RJ hit the nail on the head, mate. Again, Camavinga, I wouldn't sleep on him either. Very young, and we've all seen what he does off the bench or at Real Madrid at the moment. Him and Tchouaméni, like I said, they're going to be the future of this French team going. They're going to be the tickers. I think no Kante, no Pogba, obviously two big losses from their last World Cup. But look at that team, man. They're just stacked everywhere. Like I said, pace, power, goals, experience. Everything. They're the reigning champions, mate. We're all hoping that they have that World Cup curse on them.
I'm only hoping they have that curse when they play the Socceroos, man. That's the only time. But going long, I think they're going to be right up there. Croatia's squad came out as well. Not really too many big shocks. You kind of know what you're going to get with the Croatian team. They've got some real standout players. Certainly, someone to watch. He always represents them really well. You got Kovacic in the middle, plenty of great players. I do worry a little bit up top, having that strike. I mean, they've got some good goal scorers in there, but there's no one there that I would say confidently in every match is a good shout at banging in a goal. So a good squad, but I don't think this is Croatia's time at the moment. I think this will be a timid World Cup for them. Robbie?
I think timid is a bit downgrading them a little bit. Again, I think this is they've already had the peak of their powers in the last World Cup. There's quite a few of them coming to a twilight. But look, people like your Brozovic in midfield. Again, Modric is still turning up. Perisic always puts in a shift. They're missing big players from the last one. Superstitch in goal was massive. Mandzukic was a leader and massive up top. I think they've definitely got enough to definitely advance. Obviously, we'll get to that when we do our preview. But I don't see them going super deep. I think, like I said, they're on the other side of the hill, unfortunately.
RJ?
Yeah, they've got some exciting, experienced defenders. I know we're chasing Josko Gvardiol. He's a top player.
Vida always turns up for Croatia.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and obviously Lovren's there, of course. But look, all the action is in that. Yeah, definitely the midfield. That Modric, Kovacic, Brozovic, even Pasalic, good midfielders, man. I think if anything, if they've got a chance, it's because they can control that engine room, which is very, very gifted. If they can give Modric time and space on the ball, he can unlock any sort of defense. But I think Scott's right. They're probably a little bit underwhelming up top. So I think that might what does them in the end. But I think they'll do enough to get out of their group and perhaps get to the quarters.
Gentlemen, I have to confess I've been terrible with my quickfires today. So many times during the day I stopped and said, I need to have a quickfire. And then I just did other stuff. So I'm hoping one of you has something for me. Robbie, you ready? You got something?
Just got one, boy. I've been a bit slack today too. You guys are both neutrals. I'm obviously pumped for the Sydney Derby on the weekend. Predict the score. What do you guys think?
Coming in off the back of that bad loss to the Mariners, who are playing good football, I do worry about Wanderers. I would like you to beat them. I want you to beat
Both
Sydney.
coming off losses. Both coming off bad losses.
Yeah. But I mean, your loss was especially bad. I'm hoping that you win, but I think it'll be a draw.
Well,
Mate, I want the
Wanderers
Wanderers.
were so bad, weren't they, Scott?
they were so bad. But like, just dig it in. Like, you guys had an excellent game. But anyway,
We were, but until after the 60th minute, wasn't really excellent. But
That's right.
yeah, that's it. No.
Yeah,
So
no,
what just
draw.
what was your score? Draw, 1-1, 0-0,
I'm going to 1-1.
1-0. Arj?
no, I think Wanderers. I think they'll win. I think Sydney have been very underwhelming, and I don't mind. I had a soft spot for Sydney. They were the first team before MacArthur came around. But I think against us, they fluked that result against us with an extra player. They were woeful the week before when they had an extra player against Adelaide. They were woeful last week and they lost. So I think Wanderers, despite last week, I think will have been a better team. I reckon they'll win this one 2-1.
RJ, you got your quick fires?
Oh, it's just one, man. And it's just because I like to watch old goals, have a bit of nostalgia, especially because we're a club in transition. So name a goal scored by your club that you like to just watch religiously. And I'll give you one of mine. It won't be the predictable Essien rocket against Arsenal, though I watch that every week. This one here was the opening day Fabregas first time pass to Schürrle volley. Do you remember the one where Hazard passed it to Fabregas, first time pass, cushioned over to Schürrle and he scored? I think it was against Burnley. Unbelievable goal.
I can't remember, but it sounds good. I have to check it out.
Make sure as well, speaking of checking things out, if you do want an in-depth preview for that Sydney
100%.
derby, the other Sydney derby,
The real
make
Sydney derby.
check it out on the Football Capital. I know that only dropped. I think it was either yesterday or today.
Tonight.
There you go.
Yeah.
For me, it would probably be the Norwich goal, Jack Wilshere. That just like
nice
I
goal.
can't even remember how many passes it was, but it was great team football, man. It just summed up the philosophy at the club at that time.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's been so many good ones for United, honestly. But there's one that always it's a bit of a moment and a bit of a goal. It's not even that great, but I always like our FA Cup semi-final goal, Anthony Martial against Everton. It's nothing special, but it's just a goal and a moment. I just always love it. It's a top moment.
I've just got to tell you, gents, just very quickly. I know it's the question about our club's favourite goal, but if I could just highlight the goals I loved about your clubs, it was the one from Manchester United. It was the one where Scholes scored that volley from the corner outside the box, and I can't remember who against, but it was an unbelievable sort of just crisp volley. And for Arsenal, it was Van Persie's volley against Charlton. I'll never forget it. It's such a good goal.
The flying one when he's like flying through the air. That one's
so good. I love it. I watch it a lot as well.
Cracker goal.
Flying Dutchman. All right, look, speaking of that, we better get flying, gentlemen. There is one more round of Premier League football before the World Cup kicks off. So we will be back on Tuesday night to unpack it, do a little bit of a mid-season team of the season, looking at the players who have shone in this first part of the season, look at the table, look at the moments. And, of course, that's on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Take care. Enjoy your football. Look after each other. Boys, any closing words?
Enjoy the football, boys. Make it it's a football thing weekend.
Take care, everyone. See you later.